These Democrats definitely make that case for their cause, but there's not a lot of points. We've got questions, and the election, we're not going to want to at all.
This is BBC News. I'm Christian Fraser, live in Brussels, where EU leaders have been meeting for a special Brexit summit. Theresa May urges Parliament and the public to back her Brexit deal after its endorsement at today's European summit.
The British people don't want to spend any more time arguing about Brexit. They want a good deal done that fulfills the vote and allows us to come together again as a country.
Jean-Claude Juncker, the President of the European Commission, issues a warning to those MPs who think the EU can be persuaded to make further changes.
This is the best thing possible for Britain, this is the best thing possible for Europe, this is the only deal possible.
Donald Tusk, who chaired the summit, said the European Union wants to remain as close as possible to the UK after Brexit.
Regardless of how it will all end, one thing is certain. We will remain friends until the end of days.
Throughout this hour, we'll be turning to our reality check correspondent for clarity on what exactly has been agreed here in Brussels and where we go from here. Hello and a warm welcome to Brussels. The EU leaders have given their formal backing today to the UK leaving the European Union. The Prime Minister, Theresa May, says the deal offers a brighter future for the UK, and she has urged Parliament and the public back at home to support it. At a special summit here in Brussels, the 27 European leaders signed off on two key documents that have been agreed by the negotiators. The May Withdrawal Agreement, which outlines the terms for the UK leaving, provides for a transition period which would last until at least the end of 2020 to allow the UK to make trade deals. The deal also covers a short political declaration which is not legally binding, but it sets out the hopes for an ambitious partnership with the EU for the future. But while the Brexit deal has been signed off in Brussels, it now needs, of course, the approval of Westminster politicians, which could prove less straightforward. Adam Fleming has this report.
Time to shake on it. As EU leaders arrived in Brussels this morning, the message was, this is the deal. The only deal.
This is the deal. This is the best thing possible. And the European Union will not change its formal position when it comes to this issue.
It's the best possible, and I really want to say that there is nothing other possible, because there has been concessions also from our side.
This is the deal on the table. I don't think there's anything more. No.
This is all designed to show that divorce talks have definitively come to an end, and to provide a springboard for Theresa May to sell her deal back at home.
The withdrawal agreement fixes the divorce terms by guaranteeing the rights of EU nationals in the UK and Brits in Europe, settling the UK's financial obligations, estimated at £39 billion, with an insurance policy to avoid checks on the Irish border. There's also a roadmap to the future relationship, one based on free trade, not necessarily frictionless trade promised by the Prime Minister. There will be continued cooperation on security, and unlimited immigration from the EU, free movement, will come to an end. After nearly 2 years of talks, it took the 27 Prime Ministers, Presidents and Chancellors about 40 minutes to apply the rubber stamp to their side of the bargain. Then the Prime Minister arrived to speak to her fellow leaders. She really wanted to talk directly to you.
In any negotiation, you do not get everything you want. You need to identify what your vital interests are and stick to them. And be prepared to compromise in other areas in order to achieve a result. I think the British people understand that. When they look at this deal, they will say it is a good one for our country. and that it is in the national interest for everyone to get behind it.
With the divorce agreed, the other side is now preparing for talks about the future relationship that could last for 4 years.
Ahead of us is the difficult process of ratification as well as further negotiations. But regardless of how it will all end, one thing is certain. We will remain friends until the end of days. And one day.
Outside the summit, anti-Brexit protesters showed exactly what they think of the deal. Lots of Brexit supporters don't like it much either, but Brussels isn't the battlefield anymore. It's Britain now. Adam Fleming, BBC News, Brussels.
So with that deal agreed by Brussels, focus now turns to Westminster and Prime Minister Theresa May's chances of getting it agreed by Parliament. She's appealed directly to the British public today in an open letter to get behind the deal in the national interest, knowing that its chances of success in Westminster are far from sure. Here's our political correspondent, Leila Nafu.
For now, the hard work is over in Brussels. They have found enough common ground. But back home, the hard sell of the Brexit deal continues. The minister's adamant what's on offer is the best possible outcome.
It gets us a lot of what we wanted, not everything. The question is, can this be that staging post that gets us to the point where we could get everything? And I think with a lot of hard work, it can be.
The Prime Minister's written an open letter calling on the country to get behind the agreement. She insists the deal works for all of our people, whether you voted to leave or remain. And she says after Brexit Day next March, we will begin a new chapter in our national life. But the real battle now begins here in Westminster, where Parliament must approve the deal in the coming weeks. The numbers don't look good for the government, with opposition parties and dozens of Conservative MPs already vowing to vote it down.
Theresa May is trying to push through Parliament an ill-fated, half-baked deal that's the worst of all worlds. We need to work as hard as we can to ensure she thinks again.
I don't believe that so far this deal delivers on what the British people really voted for. Take back control of your borders, your laws, your money. I think it is seeking too much control.
It's plans for how to keep the Irish border free from checks that have raised hackles across the political spectrum. Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionists are reconsidering their support for the government, which Theresa May relies on for her majority.
We're seeing us staying within the European Union in terms of the single market. The customs union rules will apply to Northern Ireland. We're in the same VAT regime as Europe. We're in the same state aid as Europe. And there is very much support down the Irish Sea as a result of this, and that's why we can't support this deal.
Theresa May will hope she can convince as many MPs as possible here to back her, to avoid a leap into the unknown if Parliament rejects the deal. Both the EU and the government say there can be no renegotiation, hoping that will focus minds. Leila Nafu, BBC News.
Yes, and you do detect from the tone of the Prime Minister's letter today that we are at the start of 2 weeks of PR from the Prime Minister's team. She is, of course, going to go out there and give it the hard sell over the next 2 weeks. You'll have also detected in Leila's report there that there is an appetite to renegotiate some parts of the withdrawal agreement. Well, the chorus we've heard today from European leaders and also from the European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker is that that is not going to happen. Mr Juncker was adamant that the deal on the table is the deal that will stay. There will be no reopening the withdrawal agreement. As we'll hear from Chris Morris in a second, it becomes more difficult because it is a legal text and they don't want to get into reopening it with all the national interest that might then flow. Katja Adler, our Europe editor, has been speaking exclusively to Mr Juncker today, shortly after the summit finished, and he made it clear again that this deal is the only one on offer to the UK.
This is the deal. This is the deal. I'm never changing my mind day after day. This is the best deal possible for Britain. And this is the only deal possible. So if the House would say no, we would have no deal.
You said to me right at the beginning of this process that you felt it would be a sad process. You also said that somehow it felt like a failure.
Everyone is losing.
But is it a failure on the EU's behalf? Do you think it's got this?
Is it a failure on the British behalf if you are telling people year after year, month after month, day after day, that the membership of Britain in the European Union is a bad thing for the British citizens? So I don't think that the European Union is guilty for the result. It's the responsibility of Britain. Only of Britain, of nobody else.
Jean-Claude Juncker speaking exclusively to Katya Adler in more of her report later this evening. Well, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel acknowledged there is still work to be done on the future relationship outlined in the political declaration. This is what she had to say.
We strive for close cooperation and also very close cooperation in the field of internal security. These are important aspects, as Theresa May herself said. We continue to live in the European area even once or after Great Britain has left the European Union. Thus, there is still a lot that needs to be done, a lot of work for us. The House of Commons will now be seized of the draft agreement, but I think we have, this has been really a very successful endeavour in a difficult situation without precedence. Never before have we been in a situation where a member wanted to leave the European Union. We have been successful enough in this attempt of reaching an agreement that balances the interests of both sides, paying respect or paying heed to the interests of both sides, allowing at the same time for a close partnership, and all of that took place in a spirit that implied tough negotiations while never losing sight of the fact that we could only work for a win-win situation for both sides. Because as I said, my feelings are divided. I feel very sad, but also I feel a certain sense of relief that we've been able to achieve what we have achieved.
Yes, and just some notes from Adam Fleming, who's been talking to people who were at that meeting this morning. They're saying that around 7 leaders spoke in the session. Most to say that it was a sad day, as we heard there from Angela Merkel, and that they wanted this future relationship with the UK to be as close as possible. They're saying that no what-ifs were discussed, although they all acknowledged that the Prime Minister faces an uphill battle in the House of Commons, and apparently one or two of them wished her good luck with that vote. So let's bring in our reality check correspondent, Chris Morris. Just going back to that interview that Kathy's done with Jean-Claude Juncker, just stepping back, if you will, to February 2016, when, of course, the Cameron deal went awry and flowed from that. Does the EU bear some responsibility for where we're at?
You're going back into ancient Brexit history here, but
it's a British problem, isn't it? And they have no role in what happened.
Well, it was the UK that voted to leave. If you look back at what was then called the renegotiation that David Cameron tried to do, it's interesting that there was a big build-up to get to the point where the renegotiation was announced. It then played almost no role whatsoever in the referendum campaign, and that's because we've always had this problem. The maximum the EU was prepared to offer has been less than the minimum that Tory Brexiteers have been prepared to accept, and it's been like that ever since, really. What was offered in February 2016, just a few months before the referendum, I talked to EU officials about that, and they said we went to the maximum, and perhaps beyond the maximum that EU law would allow, on things like potentially putting in things which would slow down free movement of people and so forth. But in a British context, it simply wasn't enough. So yeah, the EU view is certainly very much your vote, your decision, and your problem potentially in the future, because we are going to stick to our guns. And of course there's been some movement. I would say during the negotiation perhaps it's been 75% the UK moving, 25% the EU moving. But if you go back to the day after the referendum and look at what the European Council, these 27 leaders said then, they haven't moved very much. And it's interesting that one of today's statements says we will continue to be guided by those basic statements we put out over the last couple of years.
But I wonder, when you look around Europe and you look at the problems at the moment with the rise of populism across Europe, Europe whether they need to think again about some of their attitudes, particularly to freedom of movement, because Tony Blair, in his open letter that he's written this morning, is saying, look, you have to be open-minded about this, you have to take us back if there is an appetite within the British public to have a second referendum, etc. But he's saying, you know, there are issues around freedom of movement that other member nations share as well.
There's no question about that freedom of movement is an issue in other countries. But it's also true that other countries have done more to actually implement what they can do within the laws that already exist. For example, I used to live here in Belgium, covering the EU for several years. If you come to Belgium from another EU member state, after a period of a few months, if you haven't got a job, then you can eventually be asked to leave the country, because the Belgians know exactly who's here, because within a few weeks you have to go to your local town hall and basically register. It's an ID card, and of course in the UK we don't have ID cards, so it's much more difficult to know how long people have been there in the first place. So there is an argument to say that the UK has never, if you like, applied the law that's there in theory as strongly as it could.
Okay, well, let's talk about what happened today before we finish. Of course, this has been way through. We've now got the ratification process. We don't know what's going to happen with that. But just take us through some of the staging posts ahead of that. Where does it go after ratification, if and when that takes place?
Well, so what we had today was an endorsement, that's the technical term they used, from the other 27 leaders of the deal. Eventually those 27 countries have to officially approve the deal, but that will only come right at the end of the process, possibly in the second half of March. Obviously the next thing, the next big thing we're going to be talking about an awful lot in the next few weeks, is a vote in the House of Commons, a meaningful vote as it's being called, whereby MPs will vote on whether they approve this deal or not. Primarily the withdrawal agreement, the legally binding big document, but the political declaration also plays into that. Now there's a variety of options which we can discuss about whether that gets through or not. If it does get through, at the moment the numbers don't look good, then the next stage will be ratification in the European Parliament. That's going to take a bit of time. They need to appoint a rapporteur, they need to have a debate, and I think they're aiming, if the British Parliament has approved it, to have their vote in mid-March. They have what's called a plenary session, an official session in Strasbourg in mid-March. So just a couple of weeks before Brexit is due to happen, and if those ratifications go through, then yes, we do leave the EU on the 29th of March 2019, move into this 21-month at least transition period, and the negotiations start again, because don't forget the formal negotiations on everything to do with the future relationship only begin. In fact, the EU has said that it can only actually form a mandate for those negotiations after you've actually left and become
time because they've got elections in May and the breakup.
Time for time the European Parliament, also time for time after we've left before the end of the transition period. That clock we talked about.
Just a quick one before we hand back. I know you've been talking to those people around Michel Barnier and sort of talking about there's no plan B, we're going to reopen the withdrawal agreement. What are they saying about that in reality? Could there be some wiggle room if it goes down?
I think there's very little wiggle room, if any at all, on the withdrawal agreement. It's a legal treaty, and unpicking it means you unpick all the threads, and lawyers get involved, and it could take months again. It's been very carefully constructed over a long time. The political declaration, as you said, an aspirational document, not binding on anyone. You could probably tweak it a bit, but the danger, of course, is if you tweak it to try and persuade the House of Commons, that tweak might unpersuade the European Parliament. So it's this delicate balance, and I don't think there's an appetite for a wholesale renegotiation.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much. Yeah, and it is worth saying that, of course, the big issue that the DUP and the Conservative Eurosceptics have with that document is the fact that it is legally written down in a legal text, as Chris was saying. So if you put something in the political declaration which is non-legally binding, does that really answer some of their concerns? Probably not. So it is with the withdrawal text where many of the objections stand. It is worth pointing out as well, just since we've been talking about the timetables, that if the vote was to go down, don't forget that we're going to be back here 2 or 3 days later in Brussels, because there is an end-of-year summit here on the 13th, 14th, 15th of December. Would they want to talk about Brexit again? No, I don't think so, but they might have to. Chris,
Christian Fraser there in Brussels. You're watching BBC News. Here are the headlines at 18 minutes past. Theresa May urges Parliament and public to back her Brexit deal after it's endorsed by EU leaders at a summit in Brussels today. Jean-Claude Juncker, President of the European Commission, warns MPs the agreement is the best and only deal on public. Parliament's seized documents as part of an ongoing dispute between Facebook and a committee of MPs investigating the technology giant's use of private data.
England's going really well in Sri Lanka. They're closing in a serious whitewash. They're just 6 wickets with a couple of days still to play in Colombia in the final test. That's all the sport for now. Have much more for you in the next hour.
Thanks very much for this to the BBC Sports Centre. More news now. A man has been charged with the attempted murder of a police officer after a knife attack in East London on Friday. This happened in Ilford railway station. Daniel Adeyemi, who's 24, will appear before magistrates tomorrow. The officer involved has been discharged from hospital. Documents believed to contain information about Facebook's data privacy policies have been seized in London by the Cultural Parliamentary Committee. It's thought the documents were taken as MPs on the Digital Culture and Sports Committee didn't think Facebook was responding adequately to questions they were answering. Our business correspondent Joe Miller explained to me what had happened.
It's a very rare use of a centuries-old parliamentary power. Essentially what happened is the DCMS Select Committee sent the Sergeant-at-Arms, who may be familiar to viewers from ceremonies like the Speaker's procession in the House of Commons, to a London hotel to seize documents from an American tech executive who was over here on a business trip. Now this executive, who's the head of a very small app developing company, he had these documents because of a court case that's going on in California. His company is suing Facebook for a small case to do with access to user data as well. Now, the DCMS committee won't tell us how many documents there are, and it won't confirm crucially whether, as the Observer newspaper reports, they contain emails between Mark Zuckerberg and other Facebook executives. They do still issue a statement about this soon.
According to how the story was reported this morning, it looks like this tech boss initially said no, and when he said no, he was kind of physically escorted to Parliament.
Yes, these are all details which the DCMS and the Select Committee won't confirm at this moment. I think they just wanted the headline that these documents have been seized, and they particularly want that headline because it's a shot across the face for Facebook.
This is to be seen in the New York Times tomorrow morning or Washington Post, or whatever Mark Zuckerberg happens to read online.
And they very likely will be. And of course, the background to this committee, which was originally set up, this inquiry rather, which was originally set up to look into fake news, has been trying to get answers out of Facebook ever since the Cambridge Analytica scandal exploded, and has particularly been trying to get Mark Zuckerberg to come and testify in Parliament, and he's repeatedly refused. So I think this is a Select Committee using what limited powers it has, even if they may be quite ancient, to try and get Silicon Valley's attention.
This is correspondent Joe Miller talking to me a little earlier. The survey suggests a third of people who bought rebuilt homes aren't satisfied with the properties. The figures from an independent report called the New Homes Review. 9 out of 10 of those surveyed reported defects or snags when they first moved in. The House Builders Federation says the industry is working on a new system to resolve such snags. Christmas shoppers have been warned about health and safety risks when buying electronic goods online. A new campaign by the City of London police says air silencing charges for phones and laptops are popular among counterfeiters. Because they are dangerous because they have been through vital safety checks. Graffiti has been scratched on buildings and stones have been pulled from walls that are rarely seen in an abandoned village. It's been described as unprecedented as visitors flocked to Lady Barrows of Bar in Derbyshire since low water levels revealed the remains and ruins of Derwent. But Parliament had to stop in time to remove materials from the site. Our correspondent Dave Guest visited the site of the abandoned village just before it was vandalised.
It was a picture postcard Peak District village that was doomed to be wiped, or rather washed, from the map. Toward standing in the progress.
So unfortunately, to flood these two beautiful villages, Derwent and Shipton.
The rest of the week's news visited Derwent.
And so in 1943, Derwent was consumed by the Ladybar Reservoir.
Only the top of the church spire remained visible as the village became a lake.
3 years later, Derwent defiantly popped its head above the waves during a dry spell. But then, when the rains came, it was gone. Now the remains of Derwent are on show once more, thanks to the scorching summer of 2018. And they've become quite a tourist draw.
Staying in Castleton, so we've come over to see about.
You were?
It's very well just saying how airy it is. I think it's a mix of history and engineering. The two combine. That's interesting.
Malcolm Thorpe was born in Derwent and, strangely enough, went on to work for the water company which had erased his birthplace from the map.
If we look to the right, you see the gatepost in the distance. That was out of the main road into the schoolhouse where I was born.
You were actually born just beyond those gateposts?
I was just born beyond those gateposts.
And what do you think about it, really?
I think it's great for me to see it. It brings back quite a few memories, and it's wonderful for my children, grandchildren to come and see, and everybody else who are interested in history in the Derwent Valley. I think it's fantastic.
Now, the Peak District National Park Authority say they can understand that people want to come down here and look at the spectacle, but they're also saying don't get too close, because if you go around there, that wood is extremely deep and thick, and a number of people have ended up getting stuck in it and having to be rescued. Severn Trent water reckon it'll all disappear again as the reservoirs replenished over the winter. Dave Guest, BBC North West Tonight, at the lost village of Derwent.
It's like that, yes. Let's take a look at the prospect to find out what sights await us, and I think rain will be in the forecast. Here's Nick Miller.
Well, we've been looking to the east for our weather for a while, but we look to the west again this week. The Atlantic comes back to life. Deep areas of low pressure, though, with that wetter, windier, but milder. Here's a view from North Wales earlier. I think we've got some bigger waves hitting our coastlines this week. As the winds pick up, we'll see that in a moment. Right now, though, it's a gentle flow there coming in from the eastern edge of these showers here and there. This is the picture then into this evening. A lot of these showers through the English Channel over water rather than land. To the far southwest into the Channel Islands. We also have a lot of dry weather into this evening. We've seen a few showers into the far southeast, into northeast England as well, so a few of these continue, just clipping parts of the east of Northern Ireland and into eastern Scotland. Clear spells in the west of Scotland will allow temperatures to dip away quite quickly overnight. There'll be a frost taking the cold here, and some of it's down to -4 or so going into the morning. And in fact, anywhere overnight will be clear for any period of time. You can see temperatures low single figures, a touch of frost, 1 or 2 distant fog patches. You pick out the showers still peppering eastern parts of Scotland across northern England towards Northern Ireland. There's still a few feeding through the far southeast. These are overnight temperatures down city temperatures, but of course the countryside suburbs a little bit colder than this. Into tomorrow morning then, and still on this flow coming in from the east, it's coming in here. Showers peppering eastern Scotland, eastern England, some into Northern Ireland, but much of western Scotland, Wales, western England will be dry and fairly sunny, which means for some of us more blue sky compared with today. Still significant temperatures there, and a frost for many on Monday night to Tuesday morning, some distant fog around too. But it's on Tuesday the Atlantic starts to roar back into life. Warm weather front coming through, another for Wednesday, the isobars getting closer together, the winds picking up as well as our weather turns much more active, but the winds coming in from the southwest, you can see from the colours here, that means it is milder air coming in. So you'll notice temperatures heading up. Tuesday, rain coming in from the west and southwest across all parts on Wednesday. Wednesday there will be gales in the north and west, even severe gales in places. That brings a possibility midweek of some potentially disruptive winds. All parts of the weather pattern which turns it much more unsettled this week. Wet, windy at times, but also much milder.
Follow the story, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. Follow every moment in depth with BBC News. Get the full story at bbc.co.uk/news. Get the headlines as they happen in the breaking news feed. And keep up with events by watching the BBC News channel in the app. Follow the story wherever you are with BBC News.
Our small island continues to reveal epic history.
You can be there. Every exciting moment of discovery.
An extraordinary monument as old as Stonehenge. A vast hoard of ancient coins. And a radically different view of our barbarian ancestors. Where the very latest discoveries are changing history.
Welcome to Digging for Britain.
Starts Wednesday at 9 on BBC 4.
Hello, you're watching BBC from the Sean May, the headlines this hour. Theresa May urged Parliament and Republic to make a Brexit deal after his endorsement at an EU summit in Brussels today. Jean-Claude Juncker, President of the European Commission, warns it appears that the agreement is the best and only deal on offer. In other news, a man's been charged with the attempted murder of a police officer after a knife attack in East London on Friday. The incident happened at Milford railway station. Daniel Adeyemi, who's 24, will appear before magistrates tomorrow. Parliament has seized documents as part of an ongoing dispute between Facebook and a committee of MPs investigating the technology giant's use of private data. Now let's get more on our top story. After 20 months of negotiations, EU leaders today endorsed an agreement on the UK's withdrawal from the European Union and an outline of possible future relations between the UK and the EU. Attention now turns to the UK Parliament, which is expected to vote on Theresa May's Brexit deal in early December. Its approval, though, is far from guaranteed. And this morning, the Prime Minister has once again been urging people to get behind her and support it. Speaking at a news conference a little later in Brussels, this is what she told journalists.
Today marks the culmination of a long and difficult process of negotiation between the UK and the EU. There were those who said that reaching a Brexit agreement that worked for both sides was an impossible task. From the start, I rejected that counsel of despair and set about negotiating a deal that worked for the UK and the EU, one that delivered on the result of the referendum and set us on course for a prosperous future, while maintaining a close relationship with our friends and neighbours. Thanks to the hard work of both sets of negotiators, that is what we have today agreed. I want to take a few moments to speak directly to the British people and explain what this deal means. First, control of our borders. Not an emergency break on free movement or a promise of greater transition controls in the future, but an end to the free movement of people in full once and for all. That is what this deal delivers. It will allow us to put in place an immigration system based not on where people come from, but on the skills and talents they have to offer. That is in our national interest. Second, control of our money. Not a reduction in our membership fee, not a bigger budget rebate, but an end to vast annual payments being sent to the EU. That is what this deal delivers. Instead, we will be able to spend taxpayers' money on our priorities, like the £394 million per week of extra investment we're putting into our NHS. That is in our national interest. Third, control over our laws. Not just the return of some areas of control from Brussels, but an end to the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice in the UK, with our laws being made in our country by democratically elected politicians, interpreted and enforced by British courts. That is what this deal delivers, and that is in our national interest. In agriculture, it does not just deliver a better deal under the common agricultural policy. It takes us out of the CAP completely, meaning we can design new systems of support for farmers that work for the UK. And in fishing, it does not just deliver a bigger annual quota within the common fisheries policy, it sets us free of the CFP for good and forever. The UK will be an independent coastal state once again, in full sovereign control of our waters, able to decide for ourselves who we allow to fish in them, with that access not tied to any other aspect of our economic partnership. That is in our national interest too. On borders, laws and money, this deal delivers for the British people. But I have been just as determined that as well as taking back control, this should be a deal that protects the things we value in our relationship with our European friends and sets us on course for a future of opportunity and prosperity. And this deal does that too. So if your family's livelihood depends on a skilled job in our manufacturing sector, you need a deal that keeps goods flowing easily across borders and keeps supply chains intact. This deal does that. We will be outside the single market and the customs union, but have an economic partnership with the EU closer than any other country enjoys. Good for business and in our national interest. If you're one of the over 3 million EU citizens who has come and built your life in the UK, come to be our colleagues, our neighbours and our friends, you need a deal that guarantees your rights. If you're one of the almost 1 million UK nationals living elsewhere in the EU, you need the same. This deal delivers for you all. And because each one of us is made safer by the close security cooperation between the UK and the EU, we all need a deal that keeps that close partnership intact, and this deal does that too. As Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, I have felt very keenly my responsibility to deliver a deal that works for the whole UK and for all of its parts. So what we have agreed protects the constitutional integrity of the United Kingdom. We rejected proposals which would have compromised that integrity and insisted on keeping all parts of our UK in a single customs territory. This deal delivers that. It also honours the sovereign commitment made to the people of Northern Ireland that there should be no hard border between Northern Ireland and Ireland. This deal will safeguard the hard-won progress of the last 20 years and allow the people of that part of our United Kingdom to carry on living their lives as they do today. This is a deal that works for the whole UK family, including our overseas territories and the Crown dependencies. On Gibraltar, we have worked constructively with Spain throughout this process, and I want to thank Fabian Picardo for the statesman-like role he has played. We have ensured that Gibraltar is covered by a withdrawal agreement and by the implementation period. Let no one be in any doubt. For the future partnership, the UK will be negotiating for the whole UK family, including Gibraltar. I am proud that Gibraltar is British and its constitutional status will not change. The deal we have agreed today unlocks a bright future for the UK. Outside the EU, we will be able to strike new trade deals around the world and open up new markets in the world's fastest growing economies. We will be able to focus our energies on the many other important issues that matter to the British people at home, creating more good jobs and spreading prosperity more widely, taking care of our public services like the NHS and schools, building more homes, and tackling the social injustices that prevent too many people fulfilling their potential. In any negotiation, you do not get everything you want. You need to identify what your vital interests are and stick to them, but be prepared to compromise in other areas in order to achieve a result. I think the British people understand that. When they look at this deal, they will see it as a good one for our country, and that it is in the national interest for everyone to get behind it. It honours the referendum, protects what we value, and sets us on course for a bright future. Today marks the culmination of our exit negotiations with the EU, but it also marks the start of a crucial national debate in our country over the next few weeks. Before Christmas, MPs will vote on this deal. It will be one of the most significant votes that Parliament has held for many years. On it will depend whether we move forward together into a brighter future, or open the door to yet more division and uncertainty. The British people don't want to spend any more time arguing about Brexit. They want a good deal done that fulfills the vote and allows us to come together again